Going to be going over is our new acquisitions platform. And the idea of the acquisitions platform is that the real estate industry is starting to change. We're seeing a decrease in REO assignments going out as foreclosures go down. So we have agents that have built this fantastic business in REO that are just waiting for listings. And what we've done is we've kind of turned around the way that system works, whereas REO listings come down from the top down to the agents, so asset company to agents and brokers. With acquisitions, it's more of a bottom-up model. So this is the agents taking control of their own transaction volume and taking properties to present to asset companies, investors, and acquisition companies. So what we'll do is in our account, for those of you that may already have an account, you'll notice that recently there was a new tab added here that says acquisitions, and under your main properties menu, there's a new line item here that says acquisitions. So when we click there, this is where we control all of our acquisitions throughout the process up until the point at which an offer is made. You'll notice that we have 4 different tabs to organize our acquisition properties. We have active, info request, meaning that a client has requested additional information from you. Offer request, so one of these companies has requested you make an offer on a property on their behalf. And rejected, meaning that one or more companies has rejected the property, they are not interested. So we'll start under the active tab. Now under the active tab is where you can add a new acquisition. Now to add an acquisition, it's very important to remember that this can be any property. This does not have to be one of your listings. The property does not have to be listed at all. It could be a for sale by owner. Agents that have relationships with probate or bankruptcy attorneys are giving themselves an advantage by having access to properties that other agents might not see. So to check the criteria of a particular company that's interested in buying properties, we'll click Add Acquisition here. And to the lower part of this dialog box, we have a list of asset companies that are buying properties in the system. If we click the name of any of these asset companies, underneath we have company instructions so that we can review and see what they're looking for. Are they looking for something that they can flip? Are they looking for something that's more of a long-term hold? What sort of cap rate are they looking for, et cetera, so that when you're entering a property, you know who you want to expose this to. Also, please keep in mind that you can expose a single property to more than one company with the hopes of more than one company asking you to make an offer on their behalf. So we'll get started and select the property type of this property that we're entering as an acquisition. We'll say residential. The transaction type. We'll enter all of the property information, address, city, etc. On MLS just means, is this property listed, yes or no? If it is listed, enter an MLS number here. We'll enter our list price, what we think or we suggest the property can be rented for, if that's what the company is looking for, what you suggest the offer price is, dollar amount in repairs you're suggesting, suggested retail price, the annual HOA amount, and the cap rate that you've calculated. Notice if we hover over this magnifying glass here, we do have a simple cap rate calculator here to help you calculate cap rate. And then your recommended approach. Would this property be better if it were flipped or if it were a long-term hold? The date that it's listed, and then more basic property information such as square footage, year built, etc. Any additional notes that you have, enter here in this field. You want to put as much information as possible, everything that you know about the property, any information that might be helpful for a property to review, because these companies are wanting to make decisions very quickly. Most of the companies that are purchasing are going to be cash buyers that can close in as little as 8 days, meaning as soon as they see a property that they like, they want to have all the information in front of them so they can decide yes or no. Of course, if there's information that they're looking for, they can request additional info from you, and we'll get into that in a second, but include as much as you can here under additional notes. And then here under asset companies, again, you can review each company's instructions for what they're looking for and select multiple companies to present this property to. Hold down the control key on your keyboard and you can select more than one company. Once we've entered all that information, we'll click Save to add that property to our active acquisitions list. Now when we're looking at our acquisition list, We'll have a list of all the properties we've entered into the system. Under Info Request, the system will display the total number of companies that have requested information on this property. If you hover over that number, you'll get a pop-up box that tells you which companies actually requested that information. Same thing with offers requested. So this property we have requested 0 offers. But on another property, 1 company, in this case our test company, Lone Duck, has requested an offer. How many companies have rejected and who they are, and how many companies you're still waiting on if you selected more than 1 company. Under the right, we have a number of different functions to work with the acquisition. Those are defined in a legend down at the bottom. The most important 2 buttons are going to be the Notes button and the Documents and Photos button. So here under Notes, if you click there, you can add any remarks, comments, or information that you'd like about the property. When you enter these notes, these are visible to any company that you have selected to expose this property to, unless you click Private Note, in which case that's only visible within your account, so it's something for your own record. Once you've added a note, it'll be added to this top field. All notes are displayed in chronological order with a note as to who added it, and they'll be color-coded. If it's in black, this is a public note shown to you and all companies you're sending this acquisition to. We have private notes, and then in green, we have notes created by other users. For example, if an asset company were to add a note into this portion, it would appear in green. To view the details of your acquisition, you can click this folder here. This is just the information that you entered when you added the property as an acquisition, property information, suggested offer price, etc. To click the pencil, you can edit those details. For example, change your suggested offer price if you find new information. And again, our other very important button is this Document button. When we click on the Document button, we can upload any files that we'd like to send along with this acquisition, such as a screen cap of the MLS sheet, any investment information that you might have, any other documentation that you would like to send to these companies. You can click Choose Files, Photos, etc. Upload those files under Step 1. Now under Step 2, once you've uploaded all of your files, you'll select which of the asset companies you're sending this property to you would like to receive these documents. Again, if you have more than 1 company that this has been sent to, hold down the Control key and select all the companies that you would like to see those documents. You can add a CMA to the upper right here. You can name the CMA and upload it by clicking Browse, or add photos to the right-hand side. Any photos that you upload will appear in this lower section here as a thumbnail, and a list of all uploaded documents will appear in this section to the left with the names of the companies that you've sent them to. Once you've added all of your photos, click Close. And if the property for some reason is no longer suitable for this process, for example, if it's taken off the market, you can click this last button to archive the property or remove it from acquisitions. Now, once you've had a property entered, and if an asset company is interested in the property and they'd like additional information from you, they are going to click Request Information on their side. You'll receive an email notification that that company, for example, Lone Duck, is requesting information on this particular address. You'll log into your account, and under Acquisitions, you'll click Info Request. Now under Info Request, you'll have a list of all properties that clients have requested additional information on, and if it's a new note or a new info request, it will appear in green like this. You'll click under Notes, read their most recent note, such as them updating the progress. They can update the progress based on what you have done for them. If they request information, once you've added that note, they can change it from sent to client, etc. Once you've reviewed those notes, notice that that highlighted green will go away, and this is no longer a new info request. They'll be notified that you've entered a note here satisfying their question. Once you've sent them all the information they're looking for, obviously they can reject your property, or they can move forward with the process and request an offer. The client will click Offer Request on their side. Again, you'll receive an email that a client has requested an offer. You'll log in and click on Offer Request here under Acquisitions, and you have a list of all properties that offers have been requested on. Now these are color-coded as well. As soon as a client requests an offer on a property, your newest offer request will appear in green, just like this one here. And that means that that client is waiting for you to upload offer documents. When they've requested an offer, the first thing that you have to do is fill out your state-required offer document or purchase contract. Notice here to the right under Step, we can simply click Upload Offer Documents, click Choose Files, and upload a copy of that offer document. It is automatically sent from your account to the asset company's account for them to sign. Once you've uploaded those offer documents, the property will change to yellow, which means you are waiting. They are waiting for signed documents. And once documents have been signed by both sides, the property turns dark green, and you're ready to make your offer. So to make your offer, that is required to be made in the system so that the client can review all steps of the offer process. Concourse360 has a sister site called offerrunway.com that allows you to manage offers online. Even if the listing agent on this property does not use Offer Runway, you can still send your offer through the system. This is compliant in all 50 states. So to make your offer, again, here under Step, you'll click Submit Offer. You'll be taken to this property file in the system where the property will be managed going forward, and you'll click Make Offer here. When we click Make Offer here, we can fill in any information manually, but if we look here to the bottom, we have a link that says Fill from Offer Request. Now when we click Fill from Offer Request, notice that all of the buyer information and the property information was already filled from the information that the asset company entered into the system for you to make the offer on their behalf. Their offer price, earnest money, etc. The only information you have to fill in is the listing agent information. The documents that you've already uploaded for the offer are already attached to the offer. If you have additional documents that you need to send, you can attach them by clicking Browse. You can make any additional comments or enter more of a description and click Save. Your offer has been made through the system. Now, once your offer has been made through the system, we'll find a property that has an offer on it. So bear with me for a sec. We don't have a property with an offer on it, so we'll make a new offer real quick. And it looks like Christian Broadwell, our CEO, just joined us. Good morning, Christian.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
Good. I figured I'd say hi to you while I was trying to add an offer real quick.
Okay.
So once we've filled out all of our offer information, the offer is automatically sent to the listing agent. They'll receive an email saying that they have a new offer. They can counter, accept, or reject your offer from the link that they're provided in that email. Now, if the listing agent chooses not to use Offer Runway to continue the offer process, you can still add their subsequent offer information to the system. And I'll show you how to do that here. So now that we've made our offer, we can see our initial offer. The asset company that's requested the offer can see it as well. They can add any notes, assign you tasks under the tasks function here, etc. throughout the process. So if a counter comes through via Offer Runway, you'll receive an email that you have a counter offer from the listing agent, and it will appear here under the Offers tab in this property. Again, if the listing agent does not want to continue the process using the Offer Runway system, however they've sent you the offer, whether it was via fax, email, etc., you'll click Add New Offer and add their counter offer information here so that the buying client can see that information and give you instruction on what to do next. Now, once an offer is accepted in the system on your end and the listing agent's end, the first thing that we'll want to do is change the status of our property from offer submitted to pending, because now we have a pending transaction. Now keep in mind that this is a complete management system for all of your properties, so we'll continue to manage the transaction from this point forward within the system. So again, the client can keep track of where the property is until it's closed. We'll click on Transactions next, and we'll add a new transaction. When we add a new transaction, the information from the offer will automatically fill to the transaction information. You'll enter any other information such as inspection company, etc. And most importantly, all of your different scheduled dates to take place throughout the transaction, such as close of escrow, open escrow, etc. Once we've entered all of those dates, we'll click Save New Transaction. And we have a new transaction here that can be managed. Now from here on out, as those dates arrive, we'll have tasks and documents related to the transaction that will automatically appear under here. And this is visible again by both you, the agent, and by the purchasing client. So you can see all related information to the transaction underneath. And under our main menu here, under the transaction calendar, we have a snapshot day by day of real transactions telling us on this day we have this property closing, on this day this property is going to inspection, etc. Up until the property closes and you receive commission. That's the basic process for acquisitions through the transaction portion. Now, Christian, since you're on here now, is there any other part of the program that you wanted to go over?
Well, I came in kind of late on this, and because I was just finishing up some other meetings. But yeah, I just want to kind of emphasize on the companies that are actually looking at this. We actually have had several webinars with them. Matter of fact, we had a client this morning which we went over that is buying nationwide at the moment. And when you are actually entering a property, you want to be very, very attentive to their notes, which when you click on a particular client within our system, they spell out exactly. So if you click on Blue Mountain, for instance, they have specific instructions down below, and they do change these often. So sometimes they may be requesting a different type of property or change their model over time. And what will happen is if they do not like a property, they're going to reject it. And we're actually building a new feature into the rejection so that they can actually add notes. So that way, when a property is rejected, you can see why the property was rejected, and therefore kind of help you refine your search and the type of property that you locate for them. Now, I mean, this is endless capability of building your business as large as you want to. So, as many properties as you can locate, no matter what type of property it is, whether it's maybe it's a broker and they have a lot of properties and a few pocket listings. Well, if you happen to know about those, or a for sale by owner, or an auction, or anywhere you find a property that meets the criteria of these clients, you place it in this system, and these clients are going to snatch that property up, and you're going to be the representing broker on that. So it really is up to you on how fast you want to grow your business. But I wanted to also point out that the offer runway system, that is something that is a front-end system that operates through Concourse here, and that's a public-facing website. Now, with Offer Runway, you can also view properties there, and so can buyers and buyers agents. And that's where, if you are a listing agent, you can actually, when you list it through Concourse, it shows up within this platform. And let's say, for instance, if you are operating out of a very large brokerage and there's a lot of agents, within your brokerage utilizing this, your broker can also view all the offer data as it's happening. So it's quite robust. It is a standalone system if you use it alone, and it works in conjunction with Concourse if you're using Concourse. So that's pretty much everything I had about that. But this is really I mean, this is the new model in the industry, and it's going to be going very strong. I mean, we have so many clients right now that we're adding to our list. Right now, we have somewhere around 22 clients. I believe 7 of them are buying nationwide. So if you're locating properties, I mean, these companies are out there wanting to buy these properties. So.
Well, and keep in mind, when you look at the list of companies that are buying properties in our system, a lot of those companies are also representing other companies that are seeking properties. So just because you see one company here, that company may be buying for 5 companies. So you're exposed to quite a few companies whenever you enter properties in the system. And Christian, we went over basically just the process, and I just knew you would have some perspective to add to it, which is exactly what we were looking for. So Shelley, if you feel like there was anything that you wanted to spend some more time on or add to that, or any questions that you have, I'd love to hear your thoughts too.
No, great presentation. I'm hoping everybody is listening carefully and will take advantage of some of these opportunities. I know they're all looking for additional business. What is the best way? Are there clients that are actually giving out properties at this time? I think that's probably the biggest question.
Well, you know, I actually get to see a lot of the inside of companies nationwide and what's happening with them. You know, we actually see companies managing properties within our system, and I can tell you this right now, it is far and few between right now that REOs are being handed out. What they are doing is that, again, they've switched to this model in which they are acquiring properties, and since there is such a lack of properties on the market, I mean, that inventory is down across the board, you know, throughout the nation. And I mean, for example, in Phoenix, we're at 1/7 the number of listings that is normally in the market, you know, in a normal market condition. And when you're at that low of an inventory, that means inventory of other things are lacking too, such as rental in specific areas. And so, I mean, rents have been going up at a very slight gain over time, and since the depression of the real estate market, that has given the capability of anyone who's buying property to actually make money on a rent or a REO to rental. And really, the market isn't necessarily REO to rental. It's simply buy to rental is what it is. And they're looking at specific criteria which they can buy in at so that they have a positive income on the backside. And so with REOs, at the moment right now, you know, I have to say no. We don't have any clients right now that are actually handing out properties saying, here, manage this property. Now, I can say this, there are companies that are purchasing properties that are having agents manage properties within our system. And when you actually go through an acquisition within within our software, you have actually 6 ways of making money. The first way is they can request a BPO and actually pay for that BPO. A lot of them actually request a BPO and anticipate that that would be a free BPO since you're bringing the property to them, but it depends on the company. Number 2 is if they like the property, they'll purchase it, you end up making a commission on that. And it's a strong commission. We're talking, you know, mainly 3% on these properties. The third way is if it actually goes into a lease or it's listed as a rental property, then you end up making a commission on the lease. In addition to, you may end up managing that property also, so you can end up with a managing fee. And then if the property is sold after that rental, or if it's sold after it's managed, and managing that property to repair it or rehabilitate that property, some companies are actually paying agents for the rehabilitation of those properties, unlike REO was. So when you go to sell that property, you're making a commission on that backside, and you also have the possibility of bringing in the buyer, which in turn you can end up having a double-ended escrow. So the the capability of an agent's never been so great to make money on properties ever before. And this concept here, it's going to stick around for quite some time. I mean, these companies right now, I was actually a speaker at the last hedge fund conference down in Miami, and there were over 1,500 attendees, and a majority of them were all hedge fund executives. I mean, it was a very expensive, and it's usually not normal that you find a lot of brokers there. I think the entry fee was somewhere around $5,000. So it's tough, very tough to swing something like that. But the whole conference was all about purchasing properties and either holding them or flipping them. And so what was interesting was the amount of money that was available to purchase properties. And from our accounts, I mean, we had 35 hedge funds lined up in meetings with us. And out of those 35, nearly half of them had $1 billion or more in cash. So if you can imagine in one small hedge fund conference, which it really wasn't that small comparably, and you're talking about 15, 17 billion dollars in a small group. The amount of money that's in the open market today, we estimate between 40 and 70 billion dollars in purchasing properties. So if you're not on this train right now, locating properties for these hedge funds, somebody else is, and they're providing properties out there to them in which they're acting as the buying broker. So I strongly suggest, if you really want to grow your business, this is one silo, a diversified area of your business that you should be operating and bringing agents in on it. And if you're in a team, definitely go out, find agents that are willing to locate properties. I mean, there's so many ways you can, from divorce lawyers to title companies that can do searches for you to, if you actually walk up to a homeowner that is in a short sale situation and you want to list their home, instead of going up there and saying, hey, I would like to list your home, walk up to them and say, hey, I have a buyer right now that will pay market price at this dollar amount. And if you do the numbers, you present the number to them, and they like it, most likely that homeowner is going to bring you in their home, sit you down, and say, let's talk. Otherwise, they probably are going to say no because they've been approached by 10 other agents or brokers. So those are my 2 cents I want to kind of throw out there, but it is definitely the way to the future.
In other words, think outside the box. I remember being an agent in the 80s when properties were very scarce, and I know when I went on a listing appointment, it was always with an offer in my hand, and that's how we got the listing, by bringing the seller a buyer before we even had to list the property. So it's using your brains and using your talent and thinking of ways to make money in this market. And your platform seems like a great opportunity for our members.
Thank you, Shelley. That's a great point to make.
Now, we talked about a discount for the WINS members if they do decide to join Realty Pilot, and also for a free BPO account with Green River. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I was actually just going to bring that up, so you've got perfect timing, Shelley. The promo code to receive a 25% discount off of Concourse360 is WINS25, W-I-N-D-S 25. I just typed that into the chat on your GoToMeeting toolbar so that everyone can make note of it. So again, that's for 25% off of Concourse360, which includes all of the different programs that we offer. Now, for a free account with Green River Capital to just complete BPOs for Green River Capital, if you go to our home page and click Sign Up at the top, you'll still select Concourse360 as the program you're signing up for, but the last portion of sign up, you will choose free account and select Green River Capital as your referring client. That still gives you access to see the features in the program, but the use of the program will be limited to only assignments from that single asset company.
Can you also explain why you take credit cards for that free account? I know I've seen some talk on some blogs that even though they sign up for free, they still have to put in their credit card.
Yeah, so it's for a couple of reasons. Number one, that's for ease of use because we leave all options up to the agent as far as what they would like to do with their account. And what that means is when you sign up for a free account, you're limited in use to only assignments from that one referring client, but the other clients in the system don't know that you have that free account that may be limited. So they still see you in the system as just a user. And they can offer you a BPO assignment just like they can one of their agents that have a free account with their company. So when they offer you that BPO, when you click on it, the system will tell you you've reached a free account limitation, and at that point you have the option of upgrading and using your existing billing information or declining the upgrade. The other reason would be for verification. An easy way for our system to verify that you are indeed a real person is with credit card information. Because we have high security standards at our company, we find it very important to make sure that we don't have agents attempting to sign up for 10 accounts, for example, and claim all of the BPOs that they can get their hands on. And that's one of the safeguards. But as long as you've selected free account, you will not be charged. And we do have what's called a SOC 2 Type 2 security certification, which is what major financial institutions use. So your billing information is safe. It can't even be seen by us here in our company. It's completely safe. Hopefully that explains it.
Yes, thank you, because I know that was a question buzzing around. Why were you still asking for credit card? That's a great answer, and I appreciate it.
Well, I've been hoping for the option to be there for gratuity underneath the credit card field, but we haven't done that yet. So unless you guys have any other questions, I think we can wrap this up. If you have a question, Shelley, or if Christian, you have anything else to add?
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Great information, and I hope everybody got a lot of benefit out of this. Thank you.
Have a great day.